So first, let me just go over this Monday's trading, just because I think it was the cleanest day of the week, and then we'll go over like all these questions. Okay. So let's go over the narrative here for Monday. So as we see, we have a swing point formed that Friday created, which creates a T-Trades ideal swing formation where you can expect Monday to expand right into these failure swings. So that sets up a nice narrative now. Since we have a nice close on Friday, we're going to measure out the EQ of this range. We're going to be looking for key levels within the upper half of this. And we also want an expansion candle, right? So we want to open low first, ideally. So when we drop lower, what do we see? Expansion, some sort of consolidation, right? So the Asia range is composed of two 4-hour candles. So we see the daily opens low first, we consolidate, then we form an SMT, right? So my ideal profile where the low of the day is formed from manipulation. We go to ES, we see that divergence, right here. Now on NQ, we don't have a fair value gap on the 4-hour time frame, as you see, right? We do on ES, but we form a reversal intraday anyways, so you're either going to look within the previous candle's range for a key level to form the wick off of. There really isn't the most clear one. There definitely isn't on the hourly, and there isn't on the 4-hour. This is going to look intraday to create a reversal, right? To form that wick in. As long as a small wick, that's all that matters, right? So if I turn on my session indicator on right now, go ahead and put 3 here. Right, what do we see? Go back to the 4-hour time frame. We see a 2 a.m. reversal, right? We also open low, so that supports an expansion. Low of day, like I said, form of manipulation. So we can expect what? With 2 a.m. reverses, then 6 a.m. expansion, right? That if-then scenario, right? Within the 6 a.m. candle, what are we referring to? We're referring to drivers within this time window, this 4-hour time window. So around 8 to 10, specifically 8:30 red folder news events and 9:30 every single day, we can trade, right? Continuation and pair our entries with that, right? So when I drop lower, this is the 8 o'clock candle right here. But what do we notice? It's a candle 2, right? So the driver is not opening within a fractal model. So this is a specific trade where I'm trading a candle 2. This is something I'm going to add in the course probably later on. But it's the same thing, right? Daily low is put in, small wick supporting expansion. The 4-hour is already aligned bullish. So this would be it's not really a fractal model, but it essentially is, where it's the aligned version, right? I'm just trading within a lower time from swing point, right? Within that 4-hour already existing bullish expansion candle, right? So when I look to the left as well, I have a lot of confluences here. I have the new week opening gap, we're closing over that, and we have PDRA alignment, right? Where a new week opening gap was more like a support and resistance level almost, right? But you have that aligned, right? And what do we notice as well? If I replay this prior to the 8:30 news event, the daily hasn't yet expanded, right? We have the wick. So when are we going to expand and create the body? It's around these drivers, right? And we haven't reached an objective yet. So this is setting up literally the highest level of a profile that there can be. Like really, this is like perfect. So when we open low first on the 5-minute, so let me go ahead and show you this 8:30. Let me go back to I think it was a 3-minute. Yes, so this 3-minute, so 9:30, expanding away from the low of the day. So remember, when the low of day is formed prior to a driver, we want to see the driver do what? Expand away from the low of day. This is something we see repeat on and on and on and on. It's just how the market moves. Like this confirms your bias. It's very important. Right? So when we look left, I can assume that this is the low of the 8 o'clock 1-hour candle, right? And my entry was a little bit better than this. I didn't get a retest, but I entered a little bit, I don't know what exactly I entered on, but it was just somewhat of a retracement, right? And I wanted to at least this to be 2R at least. But like I said, my entry is a little bit better. So I got to partial out prior to it coming back, as you see. Price comes back, but I got a nice partial there. And then I went break even here, right? Because when we think about expansion, you don't want to see these really deep retracements, right? If I draw out the EQ of this candle's range, I don't want it to hit below the EQ, and my entry is way below the EQ. So I wouldn't want that to get hit because price could potentially reverse on me. But I'll show you my second entry of the day. It was on YM. So as you see, we hit this, or we leave this external range high in the daily. But if I bar replay to right here, and we go to YM, we see that we have not yet reached this, not even the previous high. So this is an SMT, right? But how do we know if it's fake? Well, what we're going to see is that strength switch. And this is a little bit more advanced, right? But as you see, we also open low. It's the same thing. Same profile, same exact thing. But if you go over here on the daily chart, it's a swing point, right, where we close above candle 2's body, which validates a swing point. This is, you can learn this in T-Trade's course, right? We have failure swings above, right? And we want to see a reversal supported by the upper half of this Friday's range. So it's the same thing. We have a 2 a.m. reversal. The daily forms the same and everything. So when YM is correlated like this, you can absolutely use SMT. But when it's out of sync is when we don't use, right? Because there's no correlation. But anyways, right, what we see here is 8 o'clock, also 8:30 is expanding away from the little day. We have a CSD and everything. That's cool. But what we do is form a 30 minutes fractal model, right? And this is forming the low of the 6 a.m. candle, right? So it's a 6 a.m. Expansion candle, but it's the reversal, right? Sequence, right, within my GXT model. The low before our candle is created from the fractal model, right? And this, we haven't yet taken this. Like I said, we have SMT here. So how do you know if the strength is going to switch? Well, let's look. Let's compare assets. So I want you to look at the size of this retracement, right? This is the weaker asset, by the way, right? Look on NQ, the strongest asset. What are we doing? Getting a way deeper retracement. That's that strength switching. What that's telling me is YM is going to play catch up, right, to get to this high, right? A little bit more advanced stuff, but as you see, we form the low of the 30-minute fractal model here, right, as you see, or sorry, the low of candle 3, my bad. And you can enter on that. So this is my entry right here, anticipating that 9:30 will expand, right? Because again, we're underneath the daily open, which is right here, and we have yet to expand. And we've already had confirmation of 8:30 expanding away. And NQ is like this low in the range. So there's no reason to trade lower, right? And I just like, when I measure this range here, like I said, I don't want to see these deep retracements. Like EQ is cool, that can get hit. But when it's hovering just above the EQ or around there, that's like perfect, right? Anyways, you're going to see that this is my target. It's this failure swing up here for about 5R or so. And you see that just price just expands away, right? Now this is a glitch. What the heck? Yeah, that's a glitch. Sorry. There it is. That was weird. But yeah, this is it right here. So 9:30 opens up. I can already anticipate 9:30 expanding. And again, I'm just entering within the fractal model, right? As you see, candle 3. And we see candle 4 expand, which is 9:30 open. And we get our trade there. So hopefully that makes sense for Monday. I believe I took another trade on, maybe not. Let me see, on one of the golds or something. Oh yeah, I did. So look here. So on gold, right? Or on silver. Let's go to the daily chart. What do we see? We see a series of expansion into a high, right? So thinking about a new phase of price, retracements, or potentially reversal, we don't want to trade consolidation, right? So we see that Friday, we created a candle 2. So I can expect this day to somewhat come back in the range. And when I look at the previous week close, it's an expansion candle. So even if we're going to make an open low high close, we need to go low first. And why would I think that Monday would go low first? Because Friday reversed, right? So I can already anticipate, even if it's going to be bullish week, that early week we would create this opposing run because of Friday's close, because of what we did the previous week. We take out this high. So my draw is more so this fair value gap. So when I just need a profile, right? So this is what we see here. We see the new week opening gap, which is right here. We see that supporting price lower. That's just a confluence always, right? New week opening gap, new day opening gap. It's like a confluence. But what I'm really referring to is this SMT that's created right here. Right, so if I stay on gold, see that SMT that we're creating? Right, that's what I'm more so concerned with. And you have low resistance at the lows. So all this is expansion, consolidation, manipulation, forming the high of the day to get to this low. Now, I don't care how the candle closes because, and I'm only targeting like 2R or this low because of what the other two assets are doing and because there's nothing else to target besides weight on here, which is more of an unrealistic target, right? So you need to be aggressive because this is a daily fair value gap, right? And the correlated assets are strong. So I'm trading the weakest asset, which is good, right? But this is my trade. I actually have to look it up. I don't even remember. Was it on 30 minute? Let me look it up real quick on Twitter. I just be forgetting, bro. Yeah, here it is. So it was the 5 minute. Yeah. Okay. So it was right here, I believe. Something like this. Yeah. Yep, that was it. So let's go to the 4-hour chart real quick. So as you see, we're trading within a 6 a.m. reversal into expansion candle. You kind of have to view it like this, okay? Where we're reversing off of these highs. You have that small wick to support expansion. You can see it, right? Expansion, consolidation, expansion. This is viewed as manipulation. So I'm just trading the fractal model, right? So we have a swing formation, right? This candle here creates the high of 6 a.m., creates the wick, so I can trade the expansion of that candle, right? And now I'm trading within hourly expansion candles internally to the 4-hour candle. That's also an expansion candle. And at this time, the daily wick supported expansion. So you see how we're aligning like 4 time frames, counting the 5-minute. So I'm entering on this retest of this. So if you look here, we have this opposing candle, right? But it's far away, right? And this here is too big of a stop loss, right? So I can just enter on this fair value gap, simply put, right? And just aim for 2R. Does that make sense, everyone? Right? And the reason why I'm not looking for continuation, like I said, was because of the other assets showing strength here, right? If I look here, you're going to see it gets really ugly. And the reason why, I know some people took long here. They took this long or something. Where was it? Sorry, it's like glitching right now. Hold on. They took this long. They saw this SMT. But here's the thing about this. For this being the strongest asset, it's really ugly, right? We're seeing expansion and really deep retracements, which I don't like to see, right? For a strong asset. I want to see the strong assets be like showing like strength, right? I don't really see any strength here, right? So I'm not really anticipating, especially this asset to be like super clean. As you see, it's really ugly. It just forms a reversal candle. And over here, it delivers somewhat. I think some people caught this win. Again, I don't know why it's being so weird right now. You see, it's really choppy and slow. Like you can already anticipate these things with experience, and so I was not interested in longs, but I know some people caught this, so that's cool. So that was Monday, guys. So now let's get into these some questions, because if I go over the whole week, it's gonna take the whole hour. When entering, do you uh always for intracandle CSD after then enter for opposing candles that have a safe stop loss such as SMT? Yeah, so to answer your first question, so it's always ideal, bro, to enter the intracandle CSD, but that's not always how it forms. So let's say we have candle 2 right here. It's always ideal that the candle opens low first, creates opposing candles, and then you get that intracandle CSD. Now, this is the reason, because here this confirms the wick, but you're also getting in around the candle open to catch the expansion, right? So it's such a good concept, and that's always ideal, but that's not always how it forms, right? So this is the other way it forms, maybe. Maybe the open is right here, and we expand off the open and do something like this, right? I will still enter it. As long as you haven't expanded, like here's something you don't want to do. You don't really want to enter way up here and inside of an expansion candle, right? Because you can't expect the expansion candle to expand much further within the same candle. You always want to enter around candle opens, right? So as long as the candle hasn't expanded super far, and we haven't hit objectives, then I will still enter above the daily or above the candle open. Does that make sense? Can you show an example of your model versus T, the main difference as I know? Well, it's the same thing. I'm using T's model, right? So it's the same thing, except the way I kind of frame fractal models is I'm trying to catch the daily expansion, right? That's the only difference. I'm aligning multiple time frames in one direction. The main difference between the expansion model is he's only, or AM really focused on the daily candle. Right? We're kind of getting a little more fractal and aligning the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and the entry model is mechanical, whereas the expansion model is a little more lenient. You know, you can enter on the 30-minute, 15-minute, 5-minute. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the difference. But as far as the framework goes, it's pretty similar, right? We're trying to catch daily expansion. When entering with GXT, can you show us an example of all the opposing entries that can be used to enter? Well, it's just opposing candles, right? From like the 3 key levels, right? One that sweeps a low, or maybe an SMT with a low, a fair value gap, and an opposing candle. That's really it. And yeah, if your opposing candle is created from, you know, it takes out a short-term low or SMT, it's always like ideal, but it's not required at all. Can you go through how to find T-spot? Yeah, I don't use T-spot, but I'll show you how to do it, I think, if I remember. Shoot, I don't even know if I remember, to be honest. I think it's something like this. Pretty sure it is the close. I actually don't remember. I don't even remember, honestly. I don't use it. But if I pull up the indicator, I could figure it out real quick. If I even have it on. Hold on. Okay, so I have to turn bearish on. Hold on. I forgot what it is exactly. Okay, there is none, so I don't understand it. Do I have it on or what? Yeah, I do. I don't know why there's not one there. Let me try to find a different example. There's not one there. Yeah, honestly, I don't use it, but I literally just forgot. Okay, I could probably figure it out right here. Okay, so bearish. Dude, I don't even know actually. Yeah, I actually have no idea. I literally forgot. No idea. So that's more of a T thing you gotta ask. But I don't use it necessarily. Reference to your flow chart. Step 1 daily profile moves away from 1 hour 4 hour. Yes. Step 2, check daily expense. Yes. Check 3, or step 3. Yep. So you're trading 4-hour expansion candles away from the low day. After identifying low day, how do you check how do you check daily candle supports expansion for? Well, it's just the opposing run size. So as long as you have that opposing run size, that's what's going to tell you if it supports expansion. And it's the same thing on the 4-hour chart. So every candle creates a small wick. That is what gives you, that's how you know it supports expansion. And the way we align 4-hour candles, the way we confirm it is like before they expand, it's when the price opens up within a 1-hour or 30-minute fractal model, or the low of the candle, the low of the 4-hour candle is formed from a 1-hour or 30-minute fractal model. And the aligned version is it's already aligned, it's already started to expand, so that's easy to identify, right? Yeah, I'll give you examples. So, I mean, we can just go back to, let's go like Friday on EU. I saw pretty clean. This is like that delayed protraction profile I showed you guys. Right, I don't just show you guys these random profile. These are actually repeat, right? So when you think about a bearish bearish profile, ideally we want it to open high first, but this is different when we open low first, right? When we come back to the daily open, we use this as a reversal point, right? This is literally exactly how I told you guys it would form. It's going to create SMT every single time, right? Every single time. So it's going to have a small wick, and you're going to trade 4-hour expansion candles away from this. So you see what I mean by here? So here, this profile though, when you start to make an opposing run, right? Even if it's a much larger opposing run, you are eliminating the possibility for a bullish expansion candle to form, because this opposing run, right, would be too large to support a bullish expansion candle. So it's already kind of supporting a bearish candle, right? But the thing is, you can't really trade away from anything in here. So when it comes back up here, you have manipulation to trade away from, which is my ideal profile, right? But yeah, that's just a different profile that I want to show you guys. If you guys didn't see it, you guys missed it, then you can check that out in my channel. It's not my course. I'll probably add it eventually, but yeah. So if we just go here, right, we have the daily supporting expansion when we hit this 4-hour key level, 4-hour swing point. But what do we see here when we hit this 4-hour swing point? We don't see this candle support expansion. So therefore, you have to wait for a new open, right? So boom, we wait for a new open. We're opening up within a fractal model. We can immediately drop to the 5-minute here. Do we get an entry? No, right? I don't think so. Maybe right here, actually. Yeah, you sure do. You can enter like right here. It's like super late in the candle, which is never ideal. As you see, this CC gets created at 9:45. So really this whole candle was like consolidation. So this is something you could avoid. But let's just mechanically say you entered here, okay? Right, maybe get stopped out. Is that equal highs? Okay, no, it's not equal highs. Maybe spread. So like on Forex for sure, you have to add spread. But anyways, this is a 30-minute fractal model either way, right? So we see a fair value gap. So anytime you have an SMT or a reversal, when you see price expand with a fair value gap, this fair value gap is important. And this is actually what you want to see, right? So we expand, we consolidate without taking out lows. This is perfect, dude. Absolutely perfect. You get a candle 2, right, supporting expansion. And this is forming the high of the 4-hour candle. Right? You have the first 30 minutes to kind of do nothing. You have this one manipulate into that gap, and you see price expanding away, right? So this is the better entry, but either or, it gives a win either way, right? And yeah, that was pretty clean there. And I think you have an SMT here. Sorry, it's like glitching again. Yeah, so you have a 2-stage SMT, right? So we see the weaker asset creating a lower low. I've said this so many times, but I'm gonna have to make a full-on streamer. I'll probably talk about this in my slideshow because this stuff is sauce, right? We see the stronger asset creating a lower low on the way down, right? This is that 2-stage SMT stuff. You guys see me doing like I said with the YM, how it's a small retracement. Like there's these little things that are very good, right? They give you insight or if price is actually going to continue or not. But yeah, as you see, we're just aligning expansion candles, if that makes sense. And like I said, you have to wait for this candle to close. And the only way you would know if it's expansion, if this 4-hour candle supports expansion, is when we form these reversals, right? These lower time frame reversals, right? And then if I go to the 15-minute, you see that we have a small wick. So it hasn't expanded yet, but we're trying to catch the expansion, right? But once we can identify the reversal or the wick that's being put in, then we can catch the expansion. That makes sense? And with narrative, we're already anticipating bearishness, right? So he had asked this last week. What helps you gain the confidence to enter prior to 9:30, especially if there's no news driver at 8:30? T mentioned requirement invalidation. Yes, exactly. They anticipate to be respected. That is your view on it. Yeah. So majority of it is it's going to be continuation. So the low of day, high of day is going to be you're either going to like manipulate prior to a driver, or just trading within continuation and prices opening up within a clear invalidation level and more of like a bulky invalidation level. You don't want a small invalidation level because you get wicked out really easily. Let me show you a pretty clean example of what I mean. And this is some more advanced stuff that we'll get into. I don't really want you guys to focus on this yet. First, let me get a new feed because this is going to be really trash. So let's go over here. So this day right here, right? Look at the 1 hour chart. What do we see? This is Wednesday, CPI, right? What do we do prior to 9:30? You manipulate. So the first, red folder news event manipulates and creates an SMT. So ideal swing formation. When we think about the way a bearish candle forms, it opens high first, right? Then we get that reversal paired with SMT and a driver. So I can expect this 9 o'clock candle, which has the 9:30 driver within it, to expand, right? And this is specific because the daily candle hasn't expanded yet, right? We're still in the wick. And we haven't expanded away from this high yet. So if we haven't even expanded, but we manipulated, then what happens after manipulation? We expand. If we haven't expanded, then we can't retrace, right? So I'm not expecting 9:30 to retrace. I'm expecting it just to rip lower. Like there's no reason to retrace in this specific instance, right? So as long as we open up within a clear invalidation level, so we have the first CST here, and now we have the second one. Whoops, did not draw it. And now we have the second one. And I believe we have a 30-minute close, right? We have a swing point here on the close. So it's even opening up, 9:30 is opening up within this opposing candle as well. But more refined, it's on the 5-minute. So you can expect 9:30, here's 9:30, to form its range between this opposing candle. See, that's kind of a bulky range. And then price just rips lower. Because there's low resistance at the lows as well, right? So you can't even expect price to reverse from low resistance either. That's what we target. So this is like, if you guys want to journal this, picture perfect right here. Exactly how we teach it. Right? And then that's about 5R. Is that low? Or so. But yeah. For continuation, I can even refer to like this week, the same week, I think. Yeah. Maybe not. Hold on. Yeah, it's right here. So you see how 9:30? We're already down here. We failed to reverse from this low. So it's like there's only one area to go. It's down here. And we're opening up near this opposing candle that C2 creates. I'm already viewing this as price already retraced into a key level, which is this fair value gap, right? And when I look to the opposing side of the range, we also have this inverse fair value gap. So I'm aligning PD rays. We're also within a daily expansion candle as well as a 4-hour expansion candle. So these candles are already aligned very bearishly. So you see how I'm already anticipating this as more of a this retracement already occurring, and I can expect continuation. This is what we do. that make sense? It's very specific though. I could try to think of some more instances. God damn it. All right. But yeah, I will probably add this in my course eventually. Can't see screen? Okay, thank God, it's just you. I was like, oh my God. But yeah, I'm gonna add this in my slideshow, and then we'll see about adding in the course and whatnot. I got a lot of stuff to teach you guys. What day of the week? Okay, when I first saw the stream, it was the Monday. It tags EQ for a stop pick. Tags below EQ. That's fine. So here's how you guys can refer to these EQ of ranges. So there's some instances where you really can't use it because of the close. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. Try to find an example. Can't find one. It's more of like, think of, that's not a good example. I'm trying to find a good one. Damn, I can't find one. It's basically when like a candle, this data is cooked, so maybe in the 4 hour I can find an example or something. Brother, I cannot find one. Damn, I'm trying to find this example. Yeah, I literally can't find one. This is actually insane. What the hell? What the hell? Unless I'm blind right now, I can't really find one. Okay, this is crazy. Okay, I can't find one. But essentially when the daily closes like this, I'll just draw it because this is ridiculous. I can't find one. All right, so it's when the candle closes like this. Draw the wick. So more so like something like this. So this is hard to do because when you draw out EQ of the range, we're kind of opening near it, as you see. You see this? So like you're not giving enough room for price to create its wick. It's better when the candle closes like up here. Then obviously you can use EQ of the range. But this is what I was trying to find, is a candle like this where price continues away from. So all you need to concern yourself with, you kind of ignore this, right? EQ of the range, and you just want to find key levels around the daily open, right? So below the open, around that. And all you need to concern yourself is with a small wick the next day. That's really it. That's the whole logic behind marking out EQ of these ranges. It's a mechanical way of measuring premium or opposing run size. Sorry, it's a mechanical way of doing that. So that's all you need to concern yourself with. So it's not always like if it tags EQ, I don't really it doesn't really matter. It's more of like the lower time frame PA. It can tag it. It can form its reversal there. It's fine. But I'm gonna show you guys in my slides and stuff how you actually frame a profile, and like it gets deep and it's gonna help you guys a lot. Like I'll show you one example real quick of price recently. It was this week. So it was right here. So if you're gonna be bearish this day, this is kind of what I mean, right? Is you're only gonna have like one chance to print that profile that you're looking for. So if you're gonna be bearish, this is your only chance. It's off of this high, right? Because if we're gonna go any higher, first off, we're respecting the EQ of this candle's range, but more importantly, there's nothing else to the left to reverse from, right? When I look left. So you see what I mean? This is the only level, right? So the fact that we don't reverse here, I'm switching my bias to bullish, and then I can justify bullishness here, right? You can't initially trust these lows to trade away from, but when 930 expands away and we fail to reverse here, now you can, right? And since this is a FOMC day, this is why I long this day. Is because prior to FOMC, we don't see either the previous high or low get tagged, right? We also have previous low SMT. So when price starts to trade away from that, that's when I'm trying to validate this as an actual SMT, right? But more importantly, I see that the opening or the drivers expanding away from the low day, right? So it's 930 and 1400. And yeah, the fact that we didn't take out previous high yet gives me confidence because we're not going to inside bar on a heavy news event day. It just doesn't happen typically. So that's giving me a lot of insight, right? And I'm literally just trading GXT right here, right? Trading the 4-hour candle, right? Small wick right there, away from the low day. Hi Garrett, I maybe have a weird question. I had a very good 2 weeks with your model. I am close to passing my funded account, but there is a problem. This Friday I go on bank or holiday spring break. Wanted to ask you, what would you do to stay sharp? Would you just daily recaps? Got it. Yeah, I mean, I would say so. Yeah, daily recaps. Just you don't have to look at charts if you're on break, obviously, but um, I mean, when you come back before your break, before you trade, just maybe go back to your notes, right? Get refreshed again. And yeah, I mean, you could maybe at the end of every night do daily recaps. Yeah, you could do that. But make sure to review your journal and whatnot before you start trading again. To refresh your mind. Ask yourself. Yeah. To use 1 hour. So there is no time frame to mark out the new day opening gap. It's just a gap in the day. You're going to see the same thing on like the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the daily. It's the same gap on all time frames. But it is weird how you can't view it on like some time frames. Like there won't be a gap, but like the way you mark it is weird. So like, look, I'm gonna show you. So let's go to like Mondays or something. See, there's no gap, but there is a gap here because it's the weekly close and the opening price. You see how it gaps lower? So that's your gap. Now I can't see this on the 4 hour, but I could see this on maybe a lower time frame or something. See? See what I mean? The 5 minute, maybe you don't see it. It's harder to see, you know. So I typically just look for it on the 4 hour or 1 hour, but you can just go on the daily. You know, it's right there. See how it's the same. That NQ and ES one when we did not enter a POI on any of the time frames. You're essentially just using open outlet close. Where exactly? So this did. I don't know if you're talking about the low of day or you're talking about the fractal model. Yeah, I'm not really sure, but we do either or on both. So on NQ, there's no fair value gap here, but we do create a key level. So I'm gonna show you. We sweep out this low. Like this sweep is a key level, or this SMT, that is your key level, right? It's a swing low. So SMT is manipulation, right? Because the correlated asset sweeps out. So that's your key level for forming the low of day. Now for my trading a candle 2, it's this fair value gap. See that? So, and even on the lower time frames, well, it's a candle 2, so it's a bit different. But it also sweeps out, right? Sweeps out this low. That's also a key level. But again, it's a little bit more advanced. I'll go over that later on and stuff. A positional silver trade from Friday. I was thrown off by the candle that formed a CSD here due to the large wick. Is that something to be wary of? Let's see. Oh, of no wick. Large wick. I don't know what you mean by large wick. Oh, this wick. Oh, no. No, I don't care about that. We didn't even trade into anything. There's equal lows. See that? So no, that's not something I consider. I really don't care about stuff like that opposes, like these little things on the lower time frame that oppose my whole daily bias and stuff. It doesn't matter. Don't think about it too hard because we're not framing reversals off 5-minute closes. We're framing reversals off of daily profiles and 1 hour, 4 hour closes and all these other things. You're through trading London session. You're just trying to catch a high low day. Yeah, so let's look right here. There's like a couple examples. I don't know this week. I don't really look this week. Let's go to the 1 hour real quick. So you can't really do it here because there's no established high day necessarily. And a lot of times Asia high day, so that's just tough. But here's a pretty good example. This would be like a decent one, right? We're opening low first, previous high is available as target. We're sweeping out this low as a key level. So 2 a.m. or sorry, it's the 1 a.m. candle. As you see, it opens low, creates that small wick, and you expect expansion, right? So it's generally the same thing, right? So here's the 1700 open, opens low. Now on this asset, let's see, we also have a key level here as well. Is that an SMT or no? I don't think so. No SMT there. Okay, no SMT, that's fine. You don't need SMT. But yeah, that's how I would do it, right? And here's the Frox model. 1 hour forms the low of the 2 candle. We see that candle supports expansion, and then you're just trading the Frox model higher. So it's the same thing. Maybe you can look at this one as well. Right, you have this low that resides in the previous range. So you're only looking for continuation. Obviously, you're only looking for POIs from the previous day's range or current day's range. So here we have these equal lows that we're reversing off of. Now we just concern ourselves, does this candle support expansion, this 4 hour candle? The answer is yes. Does that make sense? And you can always use SMT, which we do have an SMT there, right? So that's nice. What about this example? Doesn't really look great. Do we sweep out this low? Yeah, I wouldn't trade this one. Less DXY. Okay, this looks really good on DXY. Yeah, this is fire. So look at DXY. This is why we do intermarket analysis, right? We look at multiple currencies, right? Choose the previous day, right? Kind of reverses, and then we expand away. So when late in the day, if the previous day reverses late in the day, or hits a key level late in the day, and then we start to expand early on in the day, or sorry, I meant to reword that. So when we reverse late in the day, and we don't expand because there's not enough time in the day, you can expect early on in the next day to expand. It's just like if late in the week, the previous week, we hit a key level, then you can expect early on in the week to expand. So here we open low first. We don't hit anything, so I'm not really concerned with that. But you see how we're creating a new wick in London? We're sweeping out Asia highs. That's what I wanted to see. So that's the divergence, right? And now you're getting an ideal swing formation right here. And you can trade the 5-minute, which is right here. So there's your GXC right there, 1 hour, 5-minute fractal model. So it's generally the same thing, right? But when Asia's the low of day, it's kind of hard to justify because you don't know if it's the low of day, like the actual low of day. That's why Asia session is going to be harder to trade than London session. London session is going to be harder to trade than New York because you don't have that those previous sessions to look back on. You know what I'm saying? Hey Garrett, if the high of day, low of day is made around Asia session, how do you approach it? Do you look for confirmation within 2 a.m. candle? So mainly it's going to be, like I said, so this is AM's approach to it. He doesn't trade within the 1 o'clock candle. So if we see that the 1800 and 1 o'clock 7-hour candle expand away from the high of day, then he's looking for continuation in New York, right? So you can't anticipate, like in London session, if that's going to be the low of day. It's kind of hard to do, unless it's like super specific, right? But we can go into that in depth later. But yeah, I'm really focused on the drivers expanding away from the low of the day. And this is kind of how I view it personally. So if I'm going to trade away from low day, high day, let's say this is Asia low, and we're opening up right here. So first off, there needs to be objectives open, right? God damn, bro. All right, and then as you see, the low of day is not a protected higher low, but we need to form some sort of internal protected swing to trade away from within the daily range. So it's going to look something like this, maybe, right? This is not the low of day, but we're trading away from some internal protected swing within the continuation, right? Within the expansion of the daily candle. And then I can, pair a driver with that and whatnot. So I'll actually show you an example of this. It was on like NQ. Or no, it was on YM, sorry. Or no, ES. I'm everywhere. It was like last week. It was a good example of last week. It was like somewhere in the swing formation. It was right here, I believe. This is last Friday. Yeah, this is last Friday. So we saw is that exact same thing that I'm referencing to, where the previous day hits a key level. Right, whoops. Let me show you the divergence. So NQ creating a higher high, ES creating a lower low. We don't reverse. We don't expand away from the key level. So early on in the day, we're going to do that, right? So if you look here, we have the low of day being Asia session. It's 1800. So when I come into the session around 9:30, I can't trust this yet. Like, it makes sense, but you see how there's just a bunch of failure swings here, in my opinion? You have this one, you have this one, a lower time frame, you have this one as well. So it's like I want 9:30 to create, or I just want the intraday to create something to trade away from, essentially, right? That's what we see right here. So you don't see anything here, but this is why we use divergence, right? So we go to YM, we take out this low, right? So that's what I can trade away from. Does that make sense? So this is my first trade, and this is what AM took, I believe, was within this candle too. He's pairing 9:30 entry. I think right here. This is what I took. Okay, you can trade all the way up here because the 6 AM candle, the 4-hour candle is already aligned, bullish. See that? Right. So within this candle, I just want to be trading within an hourly or 30-minute expansion candle, and I'm pairing a driver with that. Right. This trade, it went very well. Like it traded very nicely, like 3 point something hour. But I took a partial around 2R, and I got trailed out. I can't really trail to anything within this, right? Because there's no structure. So I have to take the break even. So I take like a half win there or so. And then we get a re-entry here on ES. So let me show you that. So here's the 10 AM candle. It's right here. So we open low first, and then we're creating a divergence with YM, I believe. Right, so you see this divergence here with the 9:30 low. That's that switch up SMT I'm talking about, right? And we have equal highs. The fact that we left equal highs was really nice to me, and also the previous high, right? So what I can expect here, and this is not correct. What the heck? It's on this feed. It looks weird, but this is. Oh yeah, sorry. So we have this SMT with NQ, and we get this close right here. So this is what I took. Sorry, like having trouble remembering, but if you look at NQ, or dang, was it YM? Oh yeah, YM took out this low, right? So that's that. There's like a 2-stage SMT here basically. So why did it? Replay is being really weird right now. Oh, that's NQ. My bad. Yeah, I was tripping. So this is what I took right here. And why did I take ES? Is because we CSD'd before, right? So if I look here on NQ, we don't CSD yet, but we do on ES, right? So that's my entry right here to get to this high. Right, that's posted in my channel and on Twitter. There's probably some other stuff that I'm just like forgetting about, but that's mainly it, right? The framework there. When Asia's low day. Does that make sense? And I feel like there's news this day, no? Am I tripping at like 10 AM? I don't remember. But this looks like news to me. They're 10 AM news, right? Pretty sure. So the fact that 10 AM news can't reverse price, if there even is 10 AM news, the fact that they can't go lower and then forms an SMT and then we're closing through that is another confirmation, right? When you refer to the fractal model, are you specifically referring to a C2 candle closure and waiting for candle 3? Yeah, just like a valid candle 3 as well, right? So the way I teach is using the fractal model. So candle 3 and 4 we're trading within the 4-hour candle. But there is some advanced stuff. Well, I will teach you guys later how to trade the candle 2, and as well as some other things like positional entries, like trading a 4-hour positional entry or pairing a positional entry with news or etc. But that's not in my course yet because I don't want people trading reversal candles everywhere and anywhere. They're just going to get clapped. You know what I'm saying? So when the time is right, we'll go over that. But you don't even need all that stuff. Like what the GXT model is taught here, you see everyone killing it. You know, you don't even need that stuff. But when you have experience with it, that's when you can kind of bend these rules and learn new things. But yeah. Was this a valid trade? If yes, is there any reason why it failed? I think it swept that high. Where my stop loss? Okay, let's see. So it opens high first. Oh, okay, hold on. Yeah, this is not a... Unless this is an SMT here, if the other asset created a high here, I wouldn't concern this as a CSD, or yeah, CSD, right? Because this candle was not the candle that created the highest high. It'd be this one. Does that make sense? But if there's SMT between those little candles, like you could potentially say it is. Yeah, this is just bad. Like the fact that we don't have a wick here, it's not ideal. Yeah, I don't typically like that, to be fair. Okay, so there was SMT here. Wait, what was this then? The 3 minute, 30 minutes I see is an ideal swing formation. Right, probably because of CST there. This is the 30-minute chart, right? I see. Yeah, it's the fact that we have no wick. That's kind of tough, honestly. And then like you see here, like I don't like any of this PA because for one, there's no wick at the high, so I can't really trade away from anything necessarily. This gap is like almost not even a key level to me because look how many candles are within the gap. It's not even like rejecting it, you know what I'm saying? That's why I have this 2-candle rule. And then I can't even buy this either because there's no expansion away from this low. It's like consolidation. You know what I'm saying? Now if I look at the 4-hour here, I'm guessing there's SMT with the high, or this is the high. Is this even the same chart? I'm so confused right now. I'm a little confused. I don't see the wick, the wickless candle, unless it was right there. I don't know. Where's it right there? I'm confused. But yeah, mainly that wick, bro. Not ideal. Oh, this is a 30-minute chart? Okay, now I'm really confused. I thought this was a daily chart. What the hell? Oh no, okay. I'm like actually really tripping. I'm really tripping. This is the daily chart. Okay, sorry. That got me like all messed up. So far, what's the win rate with GXT for you guys? I still learning. So yeah, everyone's gonna have different win rates. So like, I don't expect anyone to have the win rate that I have or the results that I have because you don't have the experience. That's the only thing, right? It's also like you can't pattern trade. Like you can pattern trade any model. So like your ability to frame trades and narrative is a big part, right? Because even with GXT, if you pattern trade it, you're not gonna have the greatest results, right? Just like anything. If you pattern trade the fractal model, you're not gonna go very well with any model, right? So it just takes experience to better the experience. You know, like we can't all have the same win rate. It's like impossible, probably. But with time, it'll get better and better. Like your ability to actually recognize and avoid low probability conditions, which is what my slideshow will have. Some of the things you can avoid. Is some of this really like it's not really complex, but like no one really talks about this type of stuff. And I'm gonna show you right here. Like a day like this, when I come into 8 a.m. and I see this, right? First, people talk about this, right? Where we have the expansion candle being a very large range. So you can't expect continuation, right, on this asset, the weakest asset, right? Because I already took out objectives, right? So I can't expect continuation now. On the weakest asset, if you can't expect continuation on the weaker asset, so I know people are looking at this and like, oh my God, this looks so clean. But if you can't expect continuation on the weakest asset, then you can't expect continuation on the stronger asset. And this is where you see price just BS. This is how you avoid losses. Like there's many other ways. That's just one way. You know what I'm saying? These little things that will take your trading to a whole nother level. Just like in my course where I talk about entering before we take out objectives, even on the 1 hour and the 4 hour. Like if I go over here, where is it? Like over here. Like ideally entering before we take out this hourly objective on its way to this high, right? Or like objectives much further. Like just stuff like that. I'm telling you, it'll literally raise your win rate so much, and you get plenty of opportunities still. You don't need to chase price after we take objectives like way up here. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, your win rates will go so much higher. So if a new 4 hour candle sweeps into a key level and get a 1 hour fractal model away from the sweep, we can assume that the new 4 hour will be a C2. Right. So in like a reversal profile where we have to sweep out the previous candle's low, like a 2 a.m. reversal or 6 a.m. New York reversal, it has to form the low of day, so therefore it has to take out this previous candle's low. As long as this candle supports expansion, like a small wick, so I'll try to find a little bit better example. I'll show you my example on YM. Right, New York reversal, 10 a.m. See this small wick? As long as it supports expansion, then it can become a reversal into expansion. It's like a two-stage. It's reversing and expanding. Unlike something like this, where it's just a reversal candle because it's a large wick. You see the difference, right? So yeah, in the low, this candle is created from a fractal model, as we see. A 30-minute and a 5-minute, or an hourly, sorry. And you can trade within lower time frame fractal models, right? So here's a 15-minute. That's supported by an hourly candle and a 4 hour candle with a reversal candle profile. This is in my course, how to trade this. Keep watching streams on WAP, helps a lot. Can you talk about the framework entering within drivers and the 6 a.m. candle? Yeah, so I've talked about quite a bit. We're almost at an hour. So we talked about a couple times, but that's going to be like a next week thing, like going over profiles, like pretty in depth, and just how to put it all together. Like next week's stream is probably going to be the stream that's going to help you guys out a lot. Also in this example of delayed protraction profile. Yes, this is a great example. Yep, and don't forget the SMT here, which is important, right? That's required SMT right here. So if you guys want to journal that for delayed protraction, there's a GXT there as well, right? Very clean. What are the time ranges you use for kill zone? So within I'm a New York trader, so within the 6 a.m. candle, we're not really going to look for trades within the hours of 6 a.m. and 7 a.m., more so 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. And for the 10 a.m. candle, ideally, you want to enter with around 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. But if there's objectives still open, then PM can still expand. Do you have any rules regarding... Okay, so when to trade a 4 hour reversal candle? Do you have any rules when you can enter a 4 hour candle? Yeah, I do. Okay, so these are like things that I will show you guys later. But I want you to get the basics down first because that's the most important part. Those things are what actually repeats the most. And that's really all you need to learn. But we will go over this more advanced stuff. They'll give you a little bit more opportunity. These fields are where we look for a higher time frame wick to form. Yeah, I know that. I just don't know how to mark it. The T-spot is shown by marking out the previous... Okay. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember now. It's from marking out the EQ of the previous candle from the opening price, which gives you, I believe, this to here. right? So this gray shaded, or something like that. Maybe not. I don't know. I really forgot. It is though, right? Yes. Okay, it is that. Okay, yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I literally forgot. Is the slideshow for the course? So it's mainly some more advanced stuff. So if you go in here, if you go to my channel here, I gave you a little preview. So this is the very basic stuff so far. But I'm really trying to make slideshows to put it all together. Because you know how my course just shows slideshows of individual concepts. Some of it is to put it all together, but I want to really like show you how to put it all together. So you're gonna see this really highlights how to trade, swing formations away from models. So like internal, external, external, internal order pairing ranges, which is just a reversal point to a target. And then we're marking out the previous candles ranges, right? So just watch this. It'll show that examples. There's some examples in there, and then how to apply the way we look at candles to form with models as well, right? The way candles form support these models. So what I mean by that is what we see on Monday, right? This is just a really clean example. So the way this daily candle forms, it opens low first, which supports what? A bullish candle, right? So this internal to external, let's say you're framing this internal fair value gap to this high, or maybe this range low to this range high. The way the daily candle is supporting it, right? Because it's opening low into the reversal point, which supports a bullish move, right? A bullish candle. So you see what I mean? So like I'm trying to show you guys how what we teach is to be applied across like it's to like put it all together. I don't know what I'm saying right now. But yeah, like I want to showcase how to put it all together. You know what I'm saying? And that can be hard to do. So I'm trying to make it easy for you guys to see. What is this? Is this new day opening or new week opening everything? Or is that the T spot or something? Why do you use YM for SMT? I only use NQ and ES and T doesn't even use it. Yeah, I know that AM and T don't use YM, but I do. Because honestly I suck with SMT. Yeah, so the way I use YM is only when they're in correlation. So if you see the markets are pretty correlated right now, as you see, but when they're not, because sometimes they're not, you can't use YM, right? Because if there is no correlation, there is no crack in correlation. So, so you might see like sometimes that one asset makes a really deep run in a range, and maybe hits EQ while the other assets don't hit EQ, and then maybe we form like some SMT internal. There's a lot of time SMTs and stuff like that, which I haven't taught you guys, but I will just say when it's correlated, you can use it. Specifically and ideally on the daily and like the 4 hour, 1 hour to frame trades. And when it's out of sync, I will use RTY. I will almost treat YM as an individual asset and treat RTY as the correlated pair, right? And then if I want to trade RTY, I'm only referring to YM as a correlation. That's just how I do it. It works out very well for me. Do you always pair oh yeah, so that's actually a good, I just went over that basically. Morning, just joined Discord now. What's up, brother? So we're almost at an hour, guys, so we're gonna end this pretty soon. Last question, bro. So obviously understanding your model, but would like to understand the how to use the flow chart with it. Mainly I'm having trouble. Okay, I got you. So yeah, let's just do one example real quick. Let's do my trade on YM, okay? All right. So let's go over here. So an idea, right, of a daily profile, trading away from a 1 hour, 4 hour key level. So this is the key level that I opted to trade away from, was this swing point. It must be an hourly or above. So this is like daily previous day's lows, 4-hour swing points, etc. So what we see here is an SMT with this low, right? But it's a two-stage SMT, so you can't really trust this, right? When price is so close on ES, but when you have a two-stage SMT, you can, right? You can start to trust that, and then these strength switches. So first, let's go over this real quick. Right, so we have a key level being hit. Now we ask yourself, does the daily support expansion? The answer is no, right? Because obviously, whoops, oh my gosh, I don't know why it does this. So when I look here, obviously the daily candle, wait, what the hell? This is a glitch. Okay, I'm on the 4-hour time frame, my bad. So this is wick. It's absolutely huge, right? It does not support bullish expansion, so it must support our reversal profile, right? So this is my course. So if the framework for trading a reversal candle is met, which is the high of day being Asia, we opening low first, right? And ideally forming the reversal prior to 10 a.m. But if it's forming a 10 a.m. New York reversal, then it must be formed early on in the candle. So if you look here, it's formed within the first 30 minutes. And this has happened quite recently where it's just forming in the first 30 minutes, happens a lot. And it's also opening low first, right? And then expanding away. So that supports a bullish candle as well. So that's aligned, right? So now we need to have a 4-hour expansion candle aligned right here, right? So we're going from here to here. So when we hit this key level, or when one of the assets hit this key level, right? So NQ hit this key level in 6 a.m. YM didn't hit this key level in 6 a.m., but it hit it in 10 a.m. So we're just going to go off this. So when we hit the key level, did it support expansion? Right? The answer is yes, right? Simply because we have a small wick. Right now, how do you confirm it? We have to confirm it with the THH fractal model. So since it does support expansion, then we go instantly to confirming with the THH fractal model. So since we have that, we can look for trades, right? So the entry that I took was this is on an Apex eval. That's why I'm trading the 1 minute in the 5 minute. I usually don't trade this, but it's the same thing, right? So the trade that I'm framing, or the candle that I'm trading within, is aligned bullish, right? And what we're targeting is the current day's high, which is in the form of low resistance liquidity. Now, there's a reason why we only trade reversal candles that look like this, right? Low resistance liquidity, right? And that is because it's more likely to expand, right, into these highs. It's a more fluid motion, right? It's literally just open low and then a high, right? If it did something like this, where you open high first and then low, this is how you get indecision candles, right? Where there's wicks to both sides. What we're kind of framing here is something like this, right? We have one wick to one side, and this is how you get these one-sided wicks. So that's also my course. But here I'm just targeting this internal high, these failure swings here, because that's all I need to pass my account. So I'm just trading within the daily range. And why do I pick YM here, right? We had that two-stage SMT, but I want you to pay attention to this retracement when I compare it to NQ and ES. See this deep retracement? That's how you know that's YM will continue, right? Much cleaner. So I'm just trading the fractal model here, right? And if you guys are scalpers, I might also add this in my course. It's the same thing, but with the 15-minute and the hourly chart. You see here that the new 1-hour candle is opening up within a lower time frame fractal model. Right? It's the same thing. So that's what I'm framing it on. So I might add that in my course. But yeah, hopefully that helps. It's pretty simple, right? You just joined. You can start with the courses. So if you're going to trade my model, then you need to start with the T-Trades fractal model course, because you need to learn some basic things like candle formations, as well as the fractal model itself, because I use it for entry and confirming 4-hour highs and lows and stuff like that. So it's a big part of my strategy. My strategy is like a what's it called? Extension to the fractal model almost. And then you can look at my course. Yeah, I could provide homework. Do you guys like homework? We're gonna wrap it up there, guys. And I will get to these questions. I'll just type it out. So like when I end the stream, I will just type it out. Actually, we're gonna do this. Yo, TDFX, you can end the stream, like right now, and I'll just keep going for just a little bit. Not much longer, but I'll just get these questions. Because I can't have the recording go like past an hour. It just takes, it's like not, I don't know. Ideally, he wants to keep it around an hour or so. Bullish expansion, or sorry, bullish candle closes with somewhat of upper wick. EQ is weird. Key level around the opening. Yes. Exactly. Oh, I see. I see what you're talking about now with this example up here. Yeah, so drawing out EQ on those candles is like, it's just useless almost. I've seen a recording, ES and NQ already ran 2 targets, but you said you would still long YM, sort of like a lagging expense. Yep. Personally, I would have been concerned and assumed that S&P is not correlated for that day. What factor would you make the trade? Well, it's when I saw that YM was creating more of a shallow retracement compared to NQ and ES, which means that the strength is switching, right? YM is stronger, right? When you have a shallower run or shallower retracement, then that kind of gives you. And the framework is so one-sided as well. There's nothing to reverse from either. When I show you this on YM, there's literally nothing to reverse from regardless to the left. So where are we at this day? Like the daily candle has no wick, right? Now we're just super deep in this range. It looks like consolidation, right? And you have this SMT down here. There's many things. The drivers are expanding away. It's one-sided as it gets. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, when we see this shallow retracement, as you see here, and then if I show you like NQ, we have a much more deeper retracement. So it's that strength switching. If that makes sense. I have a question about the extension of a 4-hour candle. Let's take, for example, that 6 a.m. media reversal. Then 10 a.m. should expand. How much time do you give the 4-hour candle that needs to perform an extension to confirm a CST? So, I mean, it should be immediately. If the previous candle reversed, I mean, it should do it within like the first hour, because a lot of times you're going to open up within a fractal model and you want to see it, you know, if it's like an hourly fractal model, like a candle 2, it needs to reverse within that next hour, essentially. So I want to see it expand quickly, especially if the previous candle created the low of day and like hasn't expanded, especially if the previous candle reversed and hasn't expanded like at all. Yeah, I have no idea. It would be helpful to have a video of such examples such as. Oh, I actually have some examples. You should dig for it in my channel. So like, you go like way up. Somewhere in here, I have examples of me walking through the flowchart. But I can start to do that more on my daily trade recaps or something. Yeah, exactly. Within the 6 a.m. candle, like we're referring to specific times. That's another thing. But as far as for continuation, like yeah, you want to see it expand, right? Because after reversal, you want to see expansion. So I don't want to see price hang around for like a couple hours. You know what I'm saying? Nah, you want to see expansion immediately. Yes, sir. No problem, Tan. Never thought I'd say this, but homework. Okay, bet. I'll start doing homework then. Creating a journal like Garrett, Nico, and more on Instagram. Take notes. Yeah. Yeah, you always want to journal and take pictures of all the time frames. You don't have to do it like Figma like we do. It's more so for like aesthetic on Instagram and stuff, but yeah, just make sure you take pictures of all the time frames. And if you guys look at this example, this is how I journal. Even in backtest, you do it more so like this. So study these. I can make more of these if you guys want, but you explain your logic to the side, right? You mark out everything that's relevant on the daily chart. Then I go to the 4-hour chart. We see this a candle, 2 a.m. reversal, SMT, GXT ideal profile, where the low of day is creating for manipulation. We have failure swings you know what I'm saying? Like I'm marking out all the opens and all that. And as well as here, right? So GXT reversal entry type, low of the 6 a.m. candles formed from a fractal model. It's also an ideal swing formation. Like mark out all this stuff. New day opening gap is aligned as well. 2-stage SMT, and then it gets down to the lower time frames and all that, right? So this is how you want to journal, right? Because when you do it the correct way and not the lazy way, over and over and over, it just becomes second nature. Where when I'm really trading, I don't have to mark out anything except time openings. Like I just have to be aware of like the candles low and high, and if that supports expansion and stuff like that. But I don't have to mark out all these things because I've done it so much. You know what I'm saying? That it just becomes second nature. How do you get your bias from the day? So that's going to be something that I'm going to be going over with what's it called? Slideshow. But mainly, you can get bias in multiple ways. You can get daily closures. That's one thing. And specifically daily closures that support new phases of price. Like if I go on gold, there's no model here. There's no model here. There's not an external to internal. It's phases of price, right? Because we have 3 days of expansion. We get a reversal candle. This gives you bias to trade back within the weekly range, right? So like weekly range logic, that's one thing. There's also things like models, specifically like internal to external in the daily time frame, or external to internal in the daily time frame, or just manipulation, and then targeting failure swings, right? There's those models in itself. There's also daily profiles, which I am like really focus on, right? Because even if you have a closure like this or something, you still need a daily profile to support this and confirm it. So this is why I rely so heavy on profiles. Right? That's why I studied it so much and got really good at it. Where I can almost trade. I can't trade every single day, obviously, but you can trade most days. And then I got good at avoiding low probability conditions. Like I showed you, like this day on like gold. Like I can look at it within like a couple minutes and be like, nah, can't trade this day right here. But that stuff all comes to time. Like narrative is really something that is like really hard to learn and stuff. That it literally just takes time and chart experience. Like I didn't learn all this from a course specifically. I learned a lot of this from chart time. Like seriously. Like I didn't have a course to learn from. I had to like learn a majority of this stuff on my own. Now I use like T trades and AM trades. I picked things from different people, and a lot of it was chart time. Hey, when you answered this before, how do you split screen? Oh, I don't split screen for SMTs or use an indicator. Like when I trade, I don't like to have split screen personally. What is the lazy way? Like not marking out everything. Like you know what I'm saying? You want to mark out everything. You want to yeah, mark out everything, explain it on the charts. Like so you put like it's repetitive in your head that you're seeing the same thing over and over, you're marking out the same thing over and over, and then it just becomes second nature. You know what I'm saying? Supporting expansion should be what exactly? So supporting expansion just means with the current date or the current candle you're trading within, when it has a small wick, this supports expansion, right? When we look at every single expansion candle in the market, small wick, small wick, small wick, right? This candle here at one point was an expansion candle. I'll show you. So if you wanted to short this day, right, you could short up here. Maybe this manipulation, right, it supports expansion, right? But you can't trade continuation because there's like these little gems, dude. I'm telling you, I didn't trade a continuation around. This is 6 o'clock, so I'm not trading within these hours, anyways. But dang, this is my model right here. Hold up. So let's just look at this real quick. I wonder if anyone traded this. So 2 a.m. reversal, or no, it's actually Asia reversal. And then 2 a.m. expanding way, and then 6 a.m. continuation. The higher that candle is creating from a fractal model, I just want to see if there's a, okay, there's not. What about 30 minute? 30 minute. Oh, right here. It looks like a positional entry. It'd have to be. It would have to be something like that. But no, there's no trade there, technically. But anyways, yeah, so you see how like you could have traded this, but the weaker asset, it hits these lows, so you ideally want to be trading the weaker asset. And you can't expect this candle to expand because of the weakest asset. These little things, right? The daily range is already huge, for one. Like, look how large that is. It's already taken objectives. This objective down here is not really significant enough. It's just a swing point low. It's very far away. It's extremely far away. And the other assets showing strength. Like, there's just so many things that don't align with a high probability trade for continuation lower. Even though you have all these lows. I'm telling you, like, these little things, this is the things that will change your trading. Like, these little things to avoid. These low probability conditions. And that is what comes with experience. And like little things like that. Would you say the fractal model comes second to bias? Oh yeah, for sure. Any model, like literally any model. Bias comes first, or narrative, your ability to frame a trade or a narrative, right? That all comes first, dude. Like I could trade like dodgy inverse for I don't know, I always refer to that. I could trade the unicorn model or something and still be profitable with it because narrative is most important. Like any entry model can work, but the fractal model is very, it's not an entry model, right? The fractal model can be used for bias and all that sort of stuff, but specifically for like the way I align time frames, it's very good. Fractal model is extremely good, right? But you can't just use it on its own. Yeah, see that's it just takes time, right? But yeah, you are doing the wrong way, right? You want to be trying to frame. This is what my model, focus on first. It's daily profile. It's framing where the day is gonna go, right? And then I will look for trading expansion candles away from the low day, and incorporating and aligning the fractal model within that, and towards those objectives, right? But these are all things that we all did, when we were newer or whatnot. We all used to look for Enigma with the entry model, but that's not the case, dude. Not even with the fractal model. With any entry model in the whole world, it doesn't matter. You need daily bias, and a lot of people try to shortcut it. They're looking for these, you see on YouTube, no daily bias needed. Well, I'm telling you, probably gonna get clapped. Even people that don't use daily bias, they have like these things they look for, which is some sort of bias, like a signatures or whatnot. You just can't pattern trade it. It's just not going to work. Something I did for a long time and led to me wasting a ton of time. Garrett, you're a beast. Been following you since your first view. Oh, that's awesome. Oh yeah, I'm gonna start recording videos pretty soon. When you ever plan on reaching out and doing your own thing? Probably not. Not anytime soon, that's for sure. 8:30 new manipulates. Continuation post. Yes, even closing. When was this? What day was this? Is this week? Q doesn't you close through. Is this a close you trust? Well, I gotta see the narrative here. So I don't know. Typically you want a larger range here prior to 9:30, so I don't think I would trust this. Kind of a small range. June 27th. Oh, I'm probably gonna end this, guys, because we're like at hour 30 here. So yeah. But next week is gonna be an important stream, guys. Imagine if all the instructions breaches out the market lands. Oh god, nah. No, I'm not going anywhere. But yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Y'all have a good one, and I'll send some homework. I'll try to find some clean example from this week and see if y'all can figure it out. But yeah, next week is gonna be a good stream, and hopefully I can finish that up. Hopefully it turns out good because I think it's gonna help a lot of you guys. But yeah, I'll catch y'all later. Y'all have a good weekend. Appreciate you, TWX, as always.